In high-intensity attrition warfare, Ukrainian drone operators maintain a relentless operational tempo, providing continuous, tactical intelligence. Let us evaluate the most devastating precision strikes targeting highly defended ground assets. A main battle tank or armored carrier costing several $1 million is neutralized by a pair of loitering munitions costing only a few thousand. That is textbook asymmetric war. The following combat footage provides a stark, raw look at this new era of warfare. An enemy logistics truck is negotiating an exposed junction attempting to find its route. Based on analysis, the subsequent catastrophic secondary explosion confirms it was fully loaded. Next, a strike drone targets a tank immobilized by a previous anti-tank mine. Elsewhere, a main battle tank advances across open terrain and hits a mine. Minutes later, a precision FPV asset exploits the open hatch to trigger a fatal internal ammo cook-off. In the southern sector, special reconnaissance units executed a high-risk operation deep inside the enemy's rear, where the adversary anticipated no threat. Ukrainian drone teams initiated a highly coordinated strike, systematically dismantling an entire artillery battery. Coordinated hits sequentially disabled 3 heavy D-20 howitzers, destroyed a logistics vehicle, and neutralized an ammo depot. Yet the primary objective of this mission was a heavily reinforced explosive storage facility. The operators demonstrated exceptional tactical planning and combat precision. Lead FPV assets breached the reinforced blast doors to open the entry path, allowing secondary drones to penetrate deep inside, detonating the primary stockpile. The resulting catastrophic blast completely erased this fortified strongpoint from the battlefield. A tracked rocket system is targeted. A direct hit on the launcher spread shrapnel across the grid. Executing a textbook maneuver, the warhead penetrates the rear armor, igniting the propellant. The tactical outcome is absolute. An aerial scout locates an active gun position, coordinating a rapid response strike with a loitering munition. A camouflaged T-80 tank, older generation, but still a vital combat asset under high attrition conditions. Tactical teams identified the vehicle by its barrel signature protruding from beneath the concealment netting. West of Robotyne, Ukrainian drone units executed a highly efficient interdiction mission against enemy armor, systematically destroying an enemy main battle tank and a modern infantry fighting vehicle. These assets were attempting to reinforce frontline units or conduct a troop rotation in this active sector. On this active front, the operators' precision strikes instantly neutralized these heavy combat units, turning them into direct fireballs. A catastrophic secondary detonation left the equipment with zero chance of recovery, increasing the adversary's unrecoverable equipment losses, proving once again that in these open southern steppes, there are no longer any secure transit corridors. Now let us analyze an emerging tactical doctrine known as dormant drone deployment. Strike assets equipped with specialized landing gear touch down, remaining in standby until high-value targets appear. We observe several counter-drone missions where Ukraine disabled these dormant platforms using light aerial payloads. Next, look closely at this modified tank. It is protected by overhead steel screens and an active jamming device. Yet the strike pilot exploits between the turret and the hull, triggering a catastrophic internal cook-off. We maintain a continuous night fighting capability utilizing thermal optics. Here, a precision payload is dropped directly onto an enemy supply transport. We shifted the strike package from fuel reservoirs to a high-value command and control building, which functions as the operational brain of the entire logistics hub. Denying this vital infrastructure cripples the entire storage network, directly disrupting the combat logistics of forward-deployed enemy units. This deep strike confirms that Ukrainian long-range weapon systems can hit any strategic target. The ongoing systematic interdiction of the enemy's fuel distribution networks on the occupied peninsula is methodically turning Crimea into an isolated logistical dead end. An armored transport was caught while carrying a volatile combat payload. A single low-cost munition triggered a massive secondary explosion. The target is a forward fuel depot. A single FPV asset is sufficient to ignite an uncontrollable blaze. In this sector, we isolate the adversary. Precision drone strikes systematically sever their command network. A neglected infantry vehicle is spotted. A single drone strike finishes it. An enemy rocket launcher targets our positions. Our aerial scout coordinates precise counter-battery fire. A drone locates a hangar hiding light combat vehicles. One precise strike detonates the entire facility. We execute a precise kinetic strike directly into the vulnerable rear of a firing tank. The enemy spent years hyping the Solnsapek as a doomsday weapon. It is the pride of their arsenal. A highly destructive non-nuclear asset designed to break defensive lines. This heavy armored launcher is a deadly system firing thermobaric rockets. It is built to incinerate fortifications, clear bunkers, and unleash lethal pressure waves. Eliminating such a rare, high-value asset is a devastating blow to the adversary. This is not just material attrition, but a severe shatter to the illusion of their military superiority. But in the Luhansk forests near Dubrova, our operators neutralized this priority threat. Our FPV drone pilots successfully hunted the vehicle, executing a surgical strike on its weakest armor point. The tactical outcome was immediate and catastrophic. The impact triggered a secondary detonation of its own thermobaric payload, instantly tearing the heavy launcher apart. Instead of suppressing our defensive positions, the enemy's prized weapon was vaporized in a massive fireball. Our Shark reconnaissance asset made a critical find, locating an enemy Smerch multiple rocket launcher. This high-caliber system possesses immense destructive range, making it a priority target for our pilots. Our crews maintained absolute surveillance discipline. The reconnaissance asset did not merely observe the firing phase, but shadowed the launcher as it withdrew to its concealed rear assembly area. The adversary believed their camouflage in the rear sector would shield them from detection. However, a coordinated strike group was already vectoring in. An FPV drone initiated the assault, securing an initial kinetic hit. The coup de grace on this heavy artillery asset was delivered by a heavy bomber drone. The massive payload impact shattered the launch platform, instantly reducing the costly weapon system to a heap of unrecoverable scrap metal. We denied the enemy tactical mobility by targeting an abandoned transport vehicle in the open. A dispersed forward ammunition depot is detected. A single FPV strike initiates a violent sympathetic. This neutralizes local supply. Next, a hidden motorcycle, a tool favored for rapid assault infantry maneuvers, is eliminated, disrupting their infiltration capability and stranding the enemy team on foot. An armored transport heavily modified with cage armor is targeted. The secondary explosion indicates it was actively transporting critical ammunition reserves directly to the front line. Our drone detects an uncrewed enemy rocket launcher. Munitions drops are coordinated to detonate its remaining payload, creating a massive chain reaction. We also target adjacent light transport vehicles, denying escape routes to the local infantry. A kinetic hit to their fuel reserves immobilizes them permanently. This is a textbook combined naval and special operations raid executed with exceptional planning. Unmanned surface vessels were utilized to transport airstrike assets directly to the hostile shoreline. This tactical deception achieved total surprise, launching maritime FPV drones to blind airfield defenses. We successfully neutralized their advanced Panzer S-1 and Tor M2 air defense shields. Suppressing these assets created an immediate air corridor, leaving the entire facility exposed and vulnerable. With air defenses down, our primary strike drones entered the airspace to exploit the gap. We systematically destroyed critical infrastructure, beginning with a precision strike on the control tower, crippling their airspace management, and targeting hangars housing high-value Orion and four-post combat drones. Next, we neutralized a mobile Zu-23-2 gun system mounted on a transport truck, concluding a highly successful operation that validates our new doctrine of integrated maritime air assaults. This is the future of littoral warfare. An enemy infantry vehicle carrying high explosive cargo is completely vaporized by sympathetic detonation. The T-90M Proryev Moscow's premier main battle tank costing millions completely neutralized by a weapon that costs next to nothing. A mass-produced kamikaze drone costing just a few $1,000s. We observe the enemy driver panic looping in open terrain, attempting to evade incoming precision loitering munitions. But lightweight FPV drones easily outmaneuver a heavy lumbering 60-ton armored platform. It took 7 aerial strikes combined with coordinated artillery fire, but the target was ultimately neutralized. Near the village of Torsky in the Donetsk sector, we see another tactical case study of automated attrition. A cold war of machines where opposing technological doctrines clash in a deadly high-tech confrontation. To preserve scarce manpower on exposed supply routes, the enemy is increasingly deploying unmanned ground vehicles. In this sector, they entrusted critical logistics, a load of ammunition to a remotely operated ground drone. Their command hoped this low-profile platform would slip through our defensive lines undetected. However, our defensive FPV operators swiftly terminated this battlefield experiment. Operators identified the mechanical transport crawling toward active combat positions and executed. The kinetic impact triggered a catastrophic secondary explosion of the onboard ammunition cargo, vaporizing the target. This massive blast proves that replacing frontline soldiers with machines cannot secure a compromised supply line. Enemy logistics remain entirely vulnerable to our persistent over-the-horizon aerial surveillance. Near the ruins of Netilov in the Donetsk sector, our units eliminated another high-value asset. A single FPV drone hunting in deep reconnaissance space tracked and destroyed a BM-27 Uragan. This heavy 220mm multiple launch rocket system, designed to saturate grid squares, was neutralized. It became a victim of its own massive footprint. Our pilot executed a surgical textbook strike. Our lightweight drone exploited a critical structural vulnerability on this massive multi-ton mobile rocket launcher. Before it could fire on our defensive line, the threat was reduced to a burning scrap pile. This demonstrates highly effective asymmetric counter-battery fire, where precision and superior tactics defeat raw firepower. Across the river in occupied Novokakhovka, our pilots initiated a hunting campaign behind enemy lines. This operation highlights the effectiveness of inter-unit cooperation, syncing our FPV teams with spotter assets. Our primary objective was a high-value command target, the adversary's localized combat drone infrastructure. We began by neutralizing their transport vehicle, instantly stripping their operator teams of mobility. But the real tactical blow came when we targeted their primary communication network. Our strike team systematically dismantled their relay masts and signal receivers, severing their telemetry links. This action effectively blinded their local unmanned aerial operations, rendering their combat hardware useless. Next, we prioritized a high-value electronic warfare unit designed to jam our primary control frequencies. An electronic suppression platform designed to isolate our tactical assets. We saturated the target with multiple drones, disabling the complex. Next is a tank with overhead shielding. Tactical field testing shows these metal screens offer virtually no protection against modern top-attack munitions. Watch this head-on impact on a moving tank. Then, we target a Ural logistical truck. The resulting fuel explosion mimics a catastrophic internal ammunition blowup. Speed cannot save an armored personnel carrier. Our tactical quadcopters easily run them down. Near Pokrovsk, we analyzed our drone swarm, interdicting a major enemy column moving toward the front. The blast radius indicates this transport vehicle was packed with high-grade military explosives. We spotted a main battle tank deployed in a hasty, poorly concealed defensive position. The crew was careless. Our FPV asset strikes an exposed stockpile of anti-personnel mines, degrading local area denial capabilities. Next, a mobile mortar system is targeted and neutralized, eliminating their localized fire support. We interdict another logistical transport, delivering critical munitions to the front line. The armor crew suffered from total situational blindness, completely unaware of the threat. A light utility truck destroyed on a routine resupply. No high explosives on board, but the fuel cell burns bright and hot.